Humans have been harnessing wind energy for thousands of years, from raising sails to propel boats to using windmills to grind grain. More recently, wind energy has become key in the fight against climate change, and while land-based wind farms aren't devoid of controversy, their benefits over burning fossil fuels isn't in doubt.
Currently, just 30% of Irish electricity comes from renewables, and existing plans should bring that to 55% by 2030. But the government has announced a new ambition to make it 70% by then. So where is all that extra energy going to come from? Well, the answer might be right on our doorstep.
I'm meeting Patricia Comiskey from the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland at Arklow Bank Wind Park, which produces enough renewable energy to power 20,000 homes.
Tell me exactly what happened. This was set up in 2004, this offshore wind farm.
Yeah.
And yet, it's still the only one in Ireland. What's going on?
This site here is a 25 megawatt site. There was a number of other applications in the system for other offshore wind projects, but there was also a feeling that development of offshore wind was significantly more expensive than onshore wind. So the focus moved to onshore wind development. Now we're seeing a significant decrease in the cost of deploying these technologies, so we're starting to see projects for offshore wind move again, which is really good news.
What are the benefits to offshore wind versus onshore wind?
Well, one of the benefits is that you're basically putting technology into a space that may not be used by many other users or where people aren't living, but also the benefit is that you are looking at larger turbines.
How do you pick a site for offshore wind?
You look at the resource. You want somewhere that's going to be quite windy, but you also, for fixed wind, which this is, which means that basically it's bolted into the seabed, you need something that is relatively shallow. This is a sandbank here, and it's ideal for putting something fixed into the seabed.
Before requesting consent or planning permission, prospective offshore wind site developers have to consult with local communities and fishing industries, and they also must carry out a full environmental impact assessment.
So they would consider impacts on the whales and dolphins, on the birds, on what's called the benthos, which are like the reef-forming animals, the fisheries, the air quality, the water quality. The planning application for many of these technologies will take 2 to 3 to 4 years sometimes to be completed before anything is even built.
What about the turbines that float on the sea? Are there plans to implement those, and what are the benefits there?
Yeah, so basically there are a number of projects throughout Europe, really, and there is a deployment in Scotland of a 30 megawatt farm. We here in Ireland are looking at a project called the Afloat project, which is an Interreg supported project. And it will be looking to deploy one floating platform over in County Mayo. The turbines will be put on a floating mechanism that doesn't need to be drilled into the seabed. So we can go out to deeper waters, and actually that will bring the turbines over the horizon and will have less of a visual impact for people.
So are we looking at a switch from onshore to offshore?
Not necessarily. We'll still support onshore renewable technologies, so onshore wind, onshore solar, but the opportunity to develop offshore is really now.
As Patricia said, Ireland has been quite slow in the uptake of offshore wind energy. But with research advances meaning that this technology is getting cheaper and cheaper, the winds of change are starting to blow.